All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are cutting straight through the noise and jumping directly to the end conclusions of an incredibly comprehensive 50-state legal guide. The goal here? To give you a definitive, zero-fluff toolkit for navigating traffic stops. I mean, we've all been there, right? You see those flashing red and blue lights in your rearview mirror and your heart just kind of drops. It's a high-stress situation, and honestly, trying to recall complex legal jargon in the heat of that moment, yeah, that's practically impossible. So we're skipping the deep legal weeds entirely today. Instead, we are zooming in exclusively on the ultimate cheat sheet, the bottom line behaviors, the exact phrases, and the final takeaways you need to protect your safety and your constitutional rights, no matter which of the 50 states you're driving in.
Since we're keeping our focus strictly on the guide's final conclusions, we've divided this explainer into 3 highly actionable parts. 1. The 6 core principles. 2. Your constitutional toolkit. And 3. What you need to do after the stop. Let's get to it.
To set the stage, listen to this powerful thesis straight from the source material's conclusion. It says, asserting your rights politely and firmly is not the act of a guilty person, it is the act of an informed citizen. I absolutely love that because it hits the nail on the head. Under pressure, a lot of drivers totally forget that their rights aren't just special favors temporarily handed out by law enforcement. They are ironclad constitutional guarantees. Using them doesn't make you look sketchy, it literally just means you're protected.
Okay, Section 1, the 6 core principles. These are your baseline behaviors. Think of these 6 steps as your timeline, your chronological rules of engagement from the second you see those lights to the days after the stop. First off, take a deep breath, stay calm. Panic is absolutely your worst enemy here. Slower movements and a completely neutral tone work wonders to de-escalate tension. Step 2, cooperate safely, meaning follow the officer's physical instructions. Step 3 is crucial, speak carefully. Be polite, stick to the facts, and keep it super brief. Step 4 is knowing your rights, which we are going to unpack in just a second. Step 5, document everything the minute the stop is over. And finally, Step 6, seek legal advice for anything that's more than just a minor ticket. What's brilliant about this specific framework is that it covers the entire life cycle of the encounter. Master these, and you completely shift the power dynamic.
Now, to actually pull those principles off, the guide makes this fascinating distinction that you really need to understand. On one side, you have physical compliance. You absolutely must safely and physically cooperate with lawful orders. Pull over, hand over your license and registration, step out of the car if you're asked to. You cannot physically resist. But, and this is a massive but, on the other side, you have legal compliance. You never have to legally concede your rights just by chatting. You don't have to admit guilt, and you should always refuse searches. So the rule of thumb here? Comply with your body to stay safe, but protect your legal future with your words and sometimes with your silence.
Moving right along to Section 2, your constitutional toolkit, let's talk amendments.
First out of the bag is your Fourth Amendment shield. This is your protection against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. Practically speaking, this means an officer can't just tear through your car because they have a hunch. They generally need a warrant, probable cause, or, and this is the real kicker, your voluntary consent. The absolute biggest takeaway from the entire conclusion of this guide is that you should always, calmly and clearly, state that you withhold your consent. Just tell them, "Officer, I do not consent to a search."
But how does that actually play out in real life? Well, even though you are verbally refusing consent, there are a few legal workarounds officers can use to bypass a warrant. If they have probable cause, like say they literally smell contraband, they can search. They can also search if you're being lawfully arrested, or if there are illegal items just sitting right there in plain view. Knowing these exceptions is great for understanding what's going on, but your job remains exactly the same. Always verbally refuse consent anyway.
Next up is the Fifth Amendment. You've heard it a million times, but it guarantees you cannot be forced to answer questions that might incriminate you. And guys, this makes your silence a constitutionally protected legal strategy. The guide hits this hard. Silence is not guilt. If an officer asks, "Hey, where are you coming from?" or "Have you had anything to drink?" you do not have to spin a story. You don't have to confess. You can just simply and politely state that you wish to remain silent and would like to speak with your attorney. The founders quite literally designed this to protect people from the intense pressure of police questioning.
Now, if things go sideways and the situation escalates to an actual arrest, boom, your Sixth Amendment right instantly activates. This guarantees your right to an attorney in criminal proceedings. The exact second you are placed under arrest, you have the right to a lawyer. And if you can't afford one, the system provides one for free. The definitive advice here? Invoke this right. Do it clearly, do it loudly, and do it early.
Don't hint at it. Don't say, maybe I should get a lawyer. Ask for one explicitly.
Finally, the 14th Amendment rounds out the toolkit by guaranteeing equal protection under the law. Why does this matter at a traffic stop? Because if you suspect you were pulled over for a pretextual or discriminatory reason, like your race or ethnicity, this is your constitutional ground for challenging it. But the guide is super clear about this. The side of the road is not the courtroom. Do not argue this with the officer at your window. Instead, document everything thoroughly so you and your lawyer can file a proper civil rights complaint later.
All right, let's bring it all home with Section 3. After the stop, drive safely, drive aware.
The conclusions leaves us with these incredibly punchy, easy-to-remember imperatives. Stop safely. Use your signal, pull over somewhere safe, and keep those hands completely visible on the wheel. Speak wisely. Be polite, but never volunteer extra info and never admit fault because, trust me, it's all going on the record. Know your rights. Actively use that constitutional toolkit we just went over. Document all. This is literally a game changer because human memory degrades so fast under stress. Write down the badge number, the time, the location, everything. Do it the second the officer leaves. And finally, seek counsel. For anything more than a standard fix-it ticket, call a lawyer. They are your best advocate.
At the end of the day, being prepared for a traffic stop is just a responsible thing to do. It makes the whole situation safer for you, your passengers, and honestly for the officers just doing their jobs. But listen, this entire framework, all these end conclusions we've talked about today, it only works if you actually remember to use it when the pressure is on. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one thought. You know your rights now, but are you truly ready to use them? Memorize this cheat sheet, stay safe out there, and I will catch you in the next explainer.